I would say it's a serious blunder on the part of BJP. Except President Vishwamohan Burma, all the NLFT top leaders, they had surrendered 20 years ago. It is really intriguing that our Union Home Minister is shaking hands with a man who has the blood of RSS Pracharak in his hand. Out of 584 so-called militants, maybe only 22 or 30 will be, these originally listed militants. All other are fakes. They pulled their own strings and contacted some politicians, and these politicians managed central government and the state government, influenced them, impressed them, and ultimately this kind of fake surrender took place. Some political leaders have already identified them as the crusader for the tribal cause and all. In the next election, BJP will have a very tough time.
On September 24, Tripura witnessed a massive homecoming ceremony where around 500 cadres from 4 major factions of the National Liberation Front of Tripura and the All Tripura Tiger Force renounced insurgency and joined the mainstream. The development took place after a peace accord was signed by the centre, state and the two outfits in Delhi on September 4. While many saw the move as a historic development, bringing an end to insurgency in the state, Manas Paul, a senior journalist and the executive editor of Tripura Times and an author, terms it as a hoax. EastMojo caught up with Paul, who shared his take on the recent arms-laying ceremony and its future implications on the state's politics. The senior journalist has covered insurgency in Tripura for decades and chronicled his experience in his book, The Eyewitnesses, Tales from Tripura's Ethnic Conflict.
First of all, this particular surrender that did take place on 24th is really surprising. Surprising in a sense that out of 584 so-called militants, maybe only 22 or 30 will be, these originally listed militants. All other are fakes. So, some people, some political leaders, they ensured that some local youths, they quote-unquote surrender before the authorities and get away with some kind of, financial package. That's all. This surrender is a I would say it's a farce. It's a pure farce. Only 20 to 30 are listed militants. They were genuine militants. Others are simply fake. So, in a sense, it has already become a matter of a discussion in the state that why all of a sudden there was a need for some kind of surrender, this kind of surrender. Because in Tripura, this for the last 15 or 16 years, there was no insurgency, no militancy in Tripura. In fact, we have not seen any militant activities, any militant attack for the last 15-16 years. Tripura has already got president's color for containing militancy successfully and effectively. There are also talks about, Tripura model. They call it a Tripura model, where, this militancy can be contained without committing any human rights violations and by the local forces, state police, Tripura state rifles, and with the help of central paramilitary forces and all. So they call it Tripura model. This Tripura model is already a known expression in counter-insurgency operations. So Tripura was a peaceful, Tripura is a peaceful state now. For the last 15-16 years, Tripura is a peaceful state. There was no militancy and no militant attacks and all. Some 1 or 2 persons, they were left in Bangladesh across the border. So they were desperate to come over. So they pulled their own strings and contacted some politicians, and these politicians managed central government and the state government, influenced them, impressed them, and ultimately this kind of fake surrender took place. In Tripura, there are Several reasons, at least 18 to 19 reasons I can cite. But I give you some, four or five major points. First of all, these militants lost their target population. First of all, these militants are, they were in forest areas, jungle areas and all. You can call them jungle guerrillas kind of thing, you can say that. So their main targets were this Bengali population. It's a xenophobic militancy. Their main target was Bengali population residing in the foothills or in the remote areas. So after this relentless 30 years of these attacks on them, kidnapping on them, this entire population, Bengali population from the remote areas, they have migrated to the town areas, or city areas, or by the roadside. So target population is lost. Now these militants don't have any village of the Bengalis where they can easily come and kill. Earlier what they used to do, they used to, cordon off these remote villages at night, and they will set the houses, afire. Then when these sleepy people would come out, they will start fusillade of firing and killing everybody, and sometimes hacking to death here and there. So you will find these several villages in the remote areas, Purbo Gonki, Bazar Colony, Kamalnagar, Borolunga, Bagber, Panchaboti. These people were 15, 16, 17, 30 people were killed. The entire village was eliminated. So now they have lost their target population. They have lost these people whom they could attack and kill and make their presence felt. No, it's not there. Second is the barbed wire fencing came up along the border. So all the militants that did have their camps across the border in Bangladesh, in forested areas and all. They used to come in a horse, in squad. Killer squad would come across cross over the border and come and commit this militancy and go away along with some abducted people. But after this barbed wire fencing came up, their movement got restricted. They could not come properly. Third is, you see this, by 2000, we have got 13 battalions of TSR, Tripura State Rifles. So what have they have got? Earlier, they used to get only 3 or 3 rifles, but by 2000, they have got all sophisticated weapons. SLR, AK-47, AK-56, like that, and many other weapons. And their deployment was strategically planned. Like, in the hilly areas, the movement routes of the militants were plugged by TSR camps. And all these small hamlets in the tribal areas where, these militants used to take shelter or, take food and all those villages were come under this TSR surveillance, and they were monitored. So this movement of the TSR in the hilly areas also got restricted to some extent. Fourth is, you see this by say 1999, 1998, all these rubber plantations got matured in Tripura. These rubber plantations, particularly belonging to the tribal villagers, people, so they started getting huge money from the rubber from 2000. So by 2004 or 2006, and they become very rich people. Socio-economic condition in the tribal areas has become, it has changed. It has undergone a sea change. Financially, they have become stronger and all. Naturally, these you don't find these new boys for recruitment from these people, from these boys villages and all, because these people have money. These boy will rather prefer to ride a motorbike or drive a beautiful car instead of going to jungle with a 47 and all, and always on the run. They would prefer in a better good life. So recruitment was gone. Abduction was, there is movement of these Bengalis in the remote areas due to militancy has become, less and less and ultimately zero. So there was no, uh, what I would say, abduction and kidnapping also. Then came in 2005, we got another thing, so mobile telephone. So mobile telephone is a booster for these counterinsurgency operations, because earlier they used to, these all the sources, they came to know there is a movement of the militants in these villages and in these remote areas. They would have to come to the PCO and make the call to the Thana Babu, Daroga Babu and the police station and make call, and everybody will listen. This man will have to shout, in the PCO that these people are moving and all, sorry, etc. etc. Now, with this mobile telephone in his pocket, he can immediately make call from anywhere, nobody will notice. So there are many other regions, SPO has been, this appointed. SPO is very interesting, this inclusion in the Tripura police, because these SPOs are local boys. Local boys, they can very well understand the local language and all. They can make out who is a militant, who is not, with a subtle change in the face, subtle change in the expression, subtle change in the movement. They can immediately identify this man is not a civilian, he might have been, militant. So this SPO thing is there. There are many other ways, many other reasons for why this militancy is not there. I would say it's a serious blunder on the part of BJP, the ruling party here. Because these militants, quote unquote, these militants, whoever they are, some of them are militants, most of them are fake, but still they would be getting the huge money. They would be getting, as soon as they surrender, they would get 4 lakhs deposited in their bank account, each of them, and moreover, they would be getting 6,000 per month. Apart from that, they would be getting other, privileges and advantages for their, recruitment and other, self-employment generation, etc. Now the point is, these boys, these people who have come over ground with the help of some political leaders, I don't want to take their name, so they will be their people only. They will be acting at the behest of, at the instance of a particular political party. So in the coming days, you will find this. We have 20 ST seats. So in these 20 ST seats, this BJP will have to depend fully on a regional party. And BJP's own Janajati Morcha, it has lost its ground, because it has already, it was on the back foot, its base was eroding. Now with these people coming together and doing all and they will be very aggressive political, foot soldiers in the remote areas, because the tag of their being militant, and some political leaders have already identified them as the, crusader for the tribal cause and all. So this kind of, tag, this kind of branding, this kind of a recognition, quote unquote, for these boys will go in favor of a particular regional party, and they would be working for the regional party. So in the next coming years, you will find this, this particular regional party will be extremely powerful. They are already powerful in a sense, but they will be more powerful in the 20 ST reserved seats. And ultimately, when these assembly elections will be, conducted in 2028, so it is virtually this regional party, they will, sweep these 20 ST seats. So BJP will be left with only 40 seats, general seats. In 40 seats, you will find this Congress, CPM, and BJP, and maybe Trinamool at one more time. They will be fighting each other. So it will be a tough time for the BJP. I am not really, this. I just don't understand. I am really confused as to why this central government, or for that matter, state government, had gone for this kind of fake surrender. It was a political harakiri. In the open. This it defies all kind of rationale. because there was no reason for that kind of surrender, because these the fake surrenders, there was no militancy, there was no militant, except this Bishomohan de Burma, this D. Baithan, this. You see, these NLFTs, all top leaders had surrendered 20 years ago. All the top leaders, except President Bishomohan de Burma, all the NLFT top leaders, they had surrendered 20 years ago, 4th May 2004. They had surrendered. All these, Kamini de Burma, Montu Koloi, Dhonu Koloi, Sanjit de Burma, Binoy de Burma, Vishnubodo Jamatia, D. Koloi, B. Nagraj, Malai Tirian, all these vice president, general secretary, army chief, deputy army chief, finance secretary, assistant finance secretary, lieutenant, all these top leaders, all the top leaders had surrendered 20 years ago. Some middle level leaders surrendered, like Shubir de Burma and all, they had surrendered some years ago. Only Bishomohan de Burma was left over there, and someone called Porimal or something, he was there. Two other militant leaders were there, Utpal de Burma Unthai and Sachindra de Burma. They are in jail. So virtually there is no NLFT. But the government thought that these Bishomohan de Burma should be brought over ground with all that fanfare and with all that, fake militants together. And ATTF, as for ATTF is gone, for a long time. 10 years ago, its president, ATTF president, was pushed back from Bangladesh by the Awami League government in Meghalaya border. And the TSR commandant brought him here, and he was in jail. Later, when he went out on bail, he joined a political party and for the election and became an elected MLA. So ATTF's president himself is an elected MLA, and where is he? His foot soldiers. Nobody is there. Only 10, 12, no, not even 10, maybe 8, 6, 7, 8 maybe there. So I don't understand why central government had thought that way. And there is one more thing. This is very interesting. I won't say interesting, I'd say intriguing. Is that, this Bishomohan de Burma, NLFT president, he ordered abduction and murder of 4 RSS pracharaks in Tripura. 4 senior RSS pracharaks were kidnapped at gunpoint from Banabasiya Kalyan Ashram Samiti in Dhumachara area in northern part of the state by militants. They were taken to Bangladesh and they were tortured and all. These militants wanted 2 crores. So this money was not paid. This ransom was not paid. So they were shot dead and they were buried in a pit. The skeletal remains are still there in Bangladesh, somewhere in Bangladesh hills. Now, it is really intriguing that our Union Home Minister is shaking hands with a man who had the blood of RSS pracharaks in his hand. Bishomohan de Burma was the man who ordered abduction and killing of 4 RSS pracharaks. And Amit Shah, Union Home Minister, I understand that he had also some kind of RSS background. He is shaking hands with, this Bishomohan de Burma. I am at a loss. I don't understand. I don't think this had these pracharaks been Marathi pracharaks, RSS pracharaks, or Gujarati RSS pracharaks. Had he done it? Do you think that he would have done it? He would have accepted this Bishomohan de Burma? So it's very, seriously frustrating in a sense. And moreover, this everybody will, you ask anybody on the road, it's a harakiri. It's a political harakiri by the BJP. The next election, BJP will have a very tough time. 20 seats are lost. They'll have to fight on 40 seats. And in 40 seats, there will be several contestants.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to EastMojo. For any queries, put them down in the comments section below and press on the bell icon for notifications.